Our friend John Telich is joining us right now.
All right.
We actually had John on. Dave's in studio here right now, too, John. We actually had him on to talk about the Indians, which we will talk about their first half and their leading. But is everybody, John, over the depression there of LeBron's decision a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, I would say so, Matt. I think a lot of people were, and I think we even spoke about this prior to the day coming down. They were kind of getting themselves built emotionally to be able to handle it, and then hoping against hope that the, quote, family component of this whole thing would perhaps wade through and he would stay and he'd fulfill the dream that I remember he said years ago about seeing his son, even playing for Akron St. Vincent St. Mary, much less playing in the NBA alongside his father. So, yeah, I think people, when it came down, it came down quicker than folks thought. And kudos to LeBron for at least getting that out of the way and allowing the process to move forward. And here we are today, where we sit with the Cavs trying to fill the void of no LeBron.
And the thought process from the Cavs, who have an interesting decision to make: do you blow this thing up, and start over, or do you want to try to make a run at it, whatever that run may be, 6th, 7th, 8th in the East, I don't know, and keep Kevin Love? And it sounds like, John, from what I'm reading, the Cavs are going to do the latter. They're going to try to compete with this group right now and hope they have something in Colin Sexton. Is that the feeling that you're getting for what the Cavs are going to do going forward?
Yeah, that's the feeling I'm getting, and I think a good reason. I don't think people speak about this as much as perhaps other just, quote, basketball reasons. There's 140 million reasons as to why they've got to, at least on the public, on the surface, be going at this to try to make the playoffs and to feature Kevin Love, and that would be the arena. I mean, can you imagine selling to the public, hey, we've got this basketball team we're going to tear down to the studs, and, oh, by the way, we're doing the same thing to our arena. Will you help us pay for that? And so, it's the PR aspect would probably not be the greatest if it was commonly known that you were tanking in the classic fashion that the boys in Philly did or what have you. But they want to – I also think it's a pride thing too. I think Dan Gilbert wants to see how well his group, his regime, post LeBron, can put a basketball product out on the floor and see what it does.
Visiting with John Telich, Fox 8 up in Cleveland. And, John, I had you on to talk a little bit about we got the Major League Baseball All-Star game tonight. The Indians right now, first place, have the largest lead of any team in the division races.
Careful. It's shrunk by about 4 games here in the last week or so.
Minnesota
Dave,
Twins fans.
Look out, Dave.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just telling you, I got a bone to pick with Adam Jardy of the Dispatch today, who said they have a stranglehold on the division. John, would you describe it as a stranglehold on the Central Division?
Well, if that bullpen falters for another month and a half, it'll certainly be an interesting divisional race. But I would say stranglehold might be stretching it just a little bit too far at this point in the season.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, what is the feeling? I mean, look, they're 9 games above 500. They had a competitive series with the Yankees, splitting that 4-game series. Yet you get the feeling, even though they have a comfortable lead, I'd say, at the break, whether it's a stranglehold or not, that all is not perfect. What is the vibe about the Cleveland Indians right now in Cleveland?
Well, I think they're scrambling in two folds. They need another positional player, and they need help in the bullpen. And they don't just need help in the bullpen for the next 2.5 months. They need help for the next couple of years because they, in their heart of hearts, have to realize that both Miller and Allen are going to be too high of a price tag for them in the free agency coming up. So they've got to feel more comfortable about their bullpen, and right now they don't. And so I think the big emphasis will be to improve that. And if you can, positional player-wise, upgrade yourself, you're not going to get Manny Machado. That's a pipe dream. But if you think that you can upgrade yourself a little bit incrementally, then by all means do it. They know everything, guys, about this window. They understand the time constraints that they have and how much control they have over their top pitchers and how good of a pitching staff that they have. So they realize that. I expect them to make moves later this month. But will there be anything blockbuster-esque like 2 years ago, Andrew Miller? I would say that's probably not going to happen.
You talk about window of opportunity also. I mean, right now, Francisco Lindor and Jose Ramirez, by baseball terms, are relatively cheap. Now, all of us would love to have the salaries that they have, but baseball-wise, they're going to break the bank in a few years. Is there pressure on this organization that, hey, the time is now because, as you said, guys like Andrew Miller and Cody Allen, you're not going to be able to afford it. The time feels like it has to be now for them.
I think it does, and you're absolutely right. And that's why they also have to worry down the road, can they afford to trade away someone like Francisco Mejia? Because they know that at one point in time, Frankie Lindor was Francisco Mejia. And so, they gauged when the good opportunity time was for them to bring Frankie Lindor up to the majors and to maximize his abilities for them. So they're in the same kind of a situation. Do you want to trade away someone like a Mejia to get that premium reliever that can come in and help stabilize the bullpen? And so I think that's the conundrum that they face, because they don't live in that so-called fantasy world where you can just open up the checkbook and go out and get Machado for the rest of the year, and then also be able to sign him to a mega deal at the end of the season. I don't think there's a problem. I think our buddy Andre Knotts pointed this out on the air, and just due to his conversations with people around the team, they could, if Manny even were traded would come to the Indians in any way, shape, or form, I think he would be agreeable to play the position they want him to play, because of the guys that are on the team there now, like his brother-in-law, Yonder Alonso. I think it would be a good fit, clubhouse-wise and also on the field. But again, I just don't see it happening, them being able to have enough cachet to offer without exposing themselves to trying to extend that window with having premium young players available when they need him, like Francisco Mejia is.
Last thing for John Telich, Fox 8 Sports, up in Cleveland. Who is the face of Cleveland sports now with LeBron gone? Is it Francisco Lindor? Is it Corey Kluber? He's won 2 Cy Youngs. Is it Baker Mayfield, even though he hasn't taken a snap yet in an NFL game? He's the number 1 pick. Who would you say is that guy?
Well, I would think the guy that most fans probably gravitate towards because of his magnetic personality and how he is with everyone is Frankie Lindor. But I think the heart and soul of Cleveland sports right now, people, if they understand what Cleveland's all about, someone who is underappreciated as a youngster and beats all the odds to come and be a great player, then they'd have to love Jose Ramirez because of the circumstances he overcame. But I think just the general answer to that question, it's got to be Frankie Lindor, with the fans in this town wanting so much for it to be down the road, a year or whenever, to actually be Baker Mayfield.
John, I would have voted for you, by the way.
God bless you, Dave.
That's right. You got 1 vote in your column. Maybe that Sherwin-Williams building. It's going to be John Telich.
That's it.
It's going to be.
I think mine would be a picture of me standing there with my arms crossed, and it would say, "We are all witless." Not witless.
I like that. Hey, John, thanks so much. We appreciate you taking a few minutes.
You got it, guys. Have a great day.